Good evening then from a very windy East Midlands airport. A bit of crackling on the order there as we started up. But good evening and thank you very much for joining us again here at East Midlands this evening. It's good to have you with us. Right, let's have a look then what is out there this evening. In front of us, a number of aircraft sitting on the apron. Chewy off to Dublin, making its way down towards runway 27. 152 making its way back in as well. That one has been out for about 45 minutes. And the Ryanair at the end of runway 27, just entering, making its way out to Alicante this evening. Little Embraer from Eastern as well over there. Not sure if we'll see that one out later on or not. With the Ryanair making its way onto runway 27 then. Should be with us in just a minute or so. Well, a very windy evening it is. A little windier than I anticipated. Otherwise it would have been safely in a tower. But still the cloud cover isn't too intense this evening. Still a lot of visibility down towards the south, east and the west from where we are. Let's have a look, see what is making its way down towards us. Anyway, just in the distance there, thundering down runway 27. And here it is then. Nano Victor India, the registration on the Ryanair. Straight off into the sunlight there. Just try and lose a bit of that if we can, as this one continues its departure. Oh, it's starting to initiate that left-hand turn down towards the south. A little bit chilly then. 1,650 feet as it continues to climb away from us then. A little bit of weather over there, but nothing too intense. Looks like it's going to very quickly pass by us this evening. So not the earlier darker cloud that was with us. Seems to have made its way over towards the east. Very strong wind indeed making its way in from the west this evening. And there the Ryanair goes. A bit of weather in front of that one out there. Off through 4,000 feet. As it heads away from East Midlands this evening. There we go then, let's get a bit more light back in. And that next departure making its way down as well. Let's show you off to Dublin this evening. Listening there as it continues its departure from East Midlands. Just under 1,000 feet as it continues to climb away. Golf Tango Uniform Mike Foxtrot the registration. 737 Max. feet. Still a little way to go. Should be rolling out of that left-hand turn any time soon. There it is. Wings level continuing to climb away. Just over 1,700 feet. A little bit shallower than the previous departure. There it goes, passing 2,000 feet. Very gradually up to 2,500 feet. There it goes, then passing out of East Midlands airspace, heading off down towards the south, speaking to London Control, the Chewy off to Dublin this evening. Departing East Midlands. Oh, let's get a bit more light in now. There we go. And the Eastern, then over there on the stand. This one has been with us for the duration of the evening so far. Not sure if it will go out or not, but I think only once in the past few months have we seen the little Embraer there. The Ryanair in as well, here in the middle. That one making a go round on its way down from Prestwick. Bombardier Challenger there. That one very new into the fleet. The Aviation in from Biggin Hill. That one making its way down towards us, just heading over Kegworth, passing through 500 feet. And good to see everybody in the chat as well. We're all keeping well. We're all keeping a little warmer than I am this evening. But good to have you with us. Thank you very much for joining us from East Midlands again this evening. The Jet 2 off to Palmer at the rear of the stand. Golf Juliet Zulu Bravo Papa, the registration 737-800. That one's 6 years of age, September 2018, first entered into operation. And the Chewy making its way out to Rhodes this evening. There it is, making an appearance. Just exiting the apron onto the taxiway. Golf Tango uniform Mike Oscar, the registration on the Chewy there. And again a 737 MAX, 5 years of age. Very quickly coming up to 6 years of age. January 2020 that was delivered to Chewy. RVL making its way in from Coventry as well, and that Chewy just making its way past this tree line there. A lot of military action overhead East Midlands this afternoon. A lot of US military aircraft passing overhead. Then making its way in. There it is. Safely making his way down towards the maintenance area then. So apologies for any distortion to the noise this evening. The wind really is whipping its way around the microphones. So a bit of a contrast to last Thursday. Well, they've been a little bit kinder to us, well, not in terms of the wind, but in terms of the rain and cloud this evening. Looks like it's going to be dry for the rest of the stream. Chewy at the end of runway 27 then, waiting to make its way out. The RVL pulling onto its stand, and the Jet 2, that one also making its way down to the start of runway 27 this evening. Can just before the Jet 2, a couple of those military aircraft passing overhead. Let's see if we can pick those up just before the next departure. There we go. And just in time for that next departure. There it is. Try and get everything back in focus now. Everything set up to catch the action down here on the ground. So apologies if the aircraft there above were a bit blurry. Goes straight off into that wind this evening, a bit of a crosswind, and continues to climb away, 1,400 feet. Quickly making its way up to 2,000 feet. Passing 2,000 feet, heading out of East Midlands airspace. Chewy off to Rhodes this evening. Let's get a little bit less glare if we can. Closer look on the Ryanair Bombardier and Air Midlands. That's how it landed in from Prestwick this evening, just a short while ago. Making its approach into East Midlands and then making a go around, maintaining that runway heading and making its way back up out towards Derby for a second go. So that wind is very strong. So I'm not surprised at all they struggled with that landing. Next departure then to Palma, making its way down towards us now. The Jet 2. Goes straight into the wind, 650 feet as it continues to climb away then. 141 knots is its current speed. And initiating left hand turn down towards the south. Quickly making its way up to 2,000 feet. Get a little bit more light in there. There you go. Very quickly disappearing into that cloud. there it is, already up at 3,000 feet. Jet 2 making its way off to Palma this evening, climbing away from East Midlands. So look in the distance at some of the action over on the DHL room, 777 in with us. Already in the process of unloading. Let's have a look for some of the next arrivals into East Midlands. The Ryanair just to the rear of the airport. I had a look at that one a couple of seconds ago. That one is pinging away. So let's have a quick look around here in the distance. That one making its way back down to Stansted. Very busy evening indeed down there. But Bombardier Challenger 3500, Mike Alpha Sierra Bravo Alpha, the registration on that one. The RVL on final approach, this one making its way in from Coventry this evening. Golf Romeo Victor Lima X-Ray, registration on the next inbound aircraft. DHL in from Kennedy is about 50 minutes out, just passing through a bit of bad weather as it makes its way to the coast of Ireland. And the UPS in from Philadelphia, that one still with about 2 hours and 20 minutes left to run. And the DHL in from Cincinnati, an hour and 55 minutes until that one reaches us this evening. So look for those next departures then as we, next departures after the arriving caravan. So that one is just touching down. Ryanair in from Palma, that one is about 15 minutes away from us. Just passing through 15,800 feet. Again, this one going around this evening. Oops. There you go, back on it. A little bit too windy for that one. Lighter aircraft having a bit of difficulty this evening with that weather. Larger aircraft, no problem at all it seems. So we should hopefully see that one back on the ground in just a few minutes time. Continuing its turn onto that downwind leg. Get some more power in. There we go, sorted. So not too sure what overheads we'll see this evening. There's a lot of military action passing east to west and vice versa. The F-16s and the Stratotanker, I believe, passing over East Midlands a little earlier this afternoon. So we may well indeed see that at some point. But for the time being, just the usual traffic with us. Ryanair Bombardier Challenger moving off. So well, this one tackles the wind as it departs from East Midlands, so it should be quite a early rotation for this one. Not too certain if this is the aircraft's first visit into East Midlands. Now I've seen another two of the Bombardiers this year. First time I've anyway seen in person that particular aircraft, I believe. But there it goes, making its way down to the start of runway 27. So look at some of the 777s over on the cargo apron there, soon arriving in from Delhi and Dubai. Should be making their way out a little later on. The RVL making its way around for its second attempt. So at the departures of the 777 just before 7 p.m. then, 6:55. The 777 in front of us will be making its way out from East Midlands, expected to depart out to Leipzig. RVL off to Dundee in the next 20 minutes, and the Ryanair making its way to Palma just after 6 p.m. So it's like a very light schedule this evening. Thank you very much indeed for being with us. Let's have a quick look over towards the maintenance area. Looks like a helicopter is making its way out. There it is. Holding there then. RVL hopefully making its second attempt. Just touching down, I think, in a distance. Shall see though, 225 feet on the radar. Hopefully it is indeed making its way down this time. And that Bombardier Challenger holding at the start of runway 27. Nothing on the helicopter in front of us at the minute. Golf Mike Sierra Victor India, the registration on that one. Very rapid and steep ascent there as it makes its way from runway 27. Heading straight down towards the south, being buffeted quite a bit by the wind there. Away it goes. Down the right air then. Deeply climbing away there. There it is, very quickly making its way from East Midlands. No challenge from the wind as it departs. Leaving East Midlands airspace, the Ryanair making its way out to Stansted. Let's get a bit more light in then now, if we can. There we go. So, almost a very empty apron over there, just the Eastern in front of us. A bit more action over on the cargo ramp though. The 767 in straight in front of us. 777 on the next stand down. The 767 next stand to that. And the 757 and 767 both together. And the 777 on the very end stand this evening, continuing to offload cargo from on board of that aircraft. The Ryanair in from Palma, the next aircraft to arrive in with us. The next arrival then, 737-800, operated by Malta Air. Nanotel, Quebec, Bravo, Sierra, the registration. Passing down through 2,400 feet as it continues its descent in towards East Midlands. Cessna 152 making its way down towards us. See how well this relatively small aircraft, in the grand scheme of things, handles the wind this evening. Quite well for the time being. Too bad at all. And depending on where that one makes its way out to, we may see that one return very shortly, or maybe in just a short while. We'll keep an eye on it though. See whereabouts that one ends up this evening. it's going to turn out to be as well. We'll keep a lookout for any of those overheads making their way past us here at East Midlands. The Ryanair in from Palmer then, making its way down over Kegworth now. Flight time 2 hours and 23 minutes by the time it touches down here with us. That wind has all of a sudden just dropped. Completely dead. Well, hopefully getting a bit warmer then. Right, passing overhead the M1, and it sounds like the Cessna maybe on a downwind leg, continuing a little further north. Right Ryanair then at 150 feet. ATR in the distance as well on the remotes. Become a very familiar sight over these past few weeks. And the Ryanair then just coming into view behind the trees. Now it is safely vacating runway 27 onto the taxiway. And continuing its taxi down towards the apron. So visibility around the airfield quite good this evening, as you can see, down towards the southeast, somewhere towards Leicester there in the distance. Not too bad over towards the west either. Now they're all just sneaking out above us there. There it is. Continuing that bank up towards the north. There it goes, disappearing behind the tree. Right now then pulling in onto stand, a little bit further round. There it is in the distance. And good evening to everybody in the chat as well. Thank you very much for joining us. Now we are looking like it's on a touch and go there this evening. So undoubtedly we'll see that one again in just a few minutes' time. Hopefully once the next band of cloud passes over, should be quite a nice pleasant evening. Nothing too much out there towards the west now. A little bit of grey cloud passing towards us. Right, let's have a look on the radar then to see whereabouts we are in terms of those aircraft this evening. Ground crew moving into place on Ryanair. That one should be departing out back to Palma this evening at about 6:05. DHL 777 off to Leipzig. That one is just before 7 p.m. and the Ryanair to Valencia at 7:30. The RVL off up to Liverpool. That is the aircraft currently doing touch and goes here at East Midlands, but that one is estimated to depart at 20 to 8 this evening, and the Ryanair off to Vraslav just before 8 p.m. In terms of arrivals then, couple of delays. .767 in from Kennedy was estimated to be with us around about now. That one unfortunately delayed by about 40 minutes, just after 6:15. That one is due to arrive with us. And the 777 in from Cincinnati looks to be on time just before 7:15. That one is due to land in. The RVL from the Isle of Man just before 7:05, and the Ryanair from Dublin around about the same time, about 7:05 this evening. The Ryanair arriving in from Vraslav at about 7:10, and 777 in from Leipzig at about 7:30. The TUI in from Palma. Estimated arrival time 7:45, and the UPS in from Philadelphia. That's the UPS 767. Estimated to arrive ahead of schedule, just before 7:45 this evening. So a lot of aircraft still to make their way in and out of East Midlands. That RVL touching down again. See if it makes a full stop landing this time, or if it is indeed going to do another touch and go. Look in the distance, as that one is making its way down towards us. Some of the cargo coming off that 777. It's like a very busy evening over there for that one. A lot of cargo to make its way back on as well. There's the op team in the distance where the bird scares out this evening. Both vehicles inspecting the runway. Nothing on the RVL just yet. May well indeed be taking off again. It's definitely the eastern there. The other one has disappeared off radar. See if it makes its way back down towards us then. A very busy evening indeed for a lot of overhead traffic here at East Midlands. Bit of cloud coverage right overhead of us for the time being. Hopefully that should pass in the next 10 minutes or so. Try and catch some of those aircraft as they make their way north of us this evening. Nothing on the RVL just yet then. Teams on the taxiway now. Disappearing down into the dip in the taxiway. So the RVL has well, actually vanished there in the distance. There we go, a little bit quiet over on the main apron for the time being. It shouldn't be too long before the Ryanair landing in there just a few minutes ago is making its way back out to Palma this evening. At about 6:05 is the estimated departure time for that Ryanair 737. Passengers still making their way off the aircraft there, so a little while yet before those next passengers make their way on board. That wind is starting to finally die down this evening. A little bit more heat coming from the sun just setting over in the west. And a couple of aircraft making their way into Manchester this evening, just north of us. It's a shame that cloud is right in front of us at the minute. Otherwise we'd have quite a good view of overhead traffic making its way towards us here at East Midlands. The RVL then on its way to us again. Straight out. Maybe on a bit of a calibration flight this evening. So it's been out for an hour and 45 minutes now. A couple of touch and goes here at East Midlands. Let's see if we can get the KLM in to Manchester, that one from Amsterdam this evening. 737 there in the KLM livery. See just how clear it is to the north at the minute as well. So hopefully a few more overheads passing our way for the time being. Just the Ryanair in the distance over there on the main passenger apron. So I'll have a look for some of those heavies making their way into Manchester in a little while. So the Chewy 787 in from Kos will be the next to pass overhead. Let's have a look on the radar. So the 747 everybody will be waiting to see this evening at some point. Air Force One probably still a good 4 hours away. Not sure what routing that will take towards the UK this evening. But it'll make its way straight down over South Wales in towards London, or if it will indeed pass a little bit further up. But still a good few hours before that one lands in. It'll be a very cold evening, I think, further down south for anybody waiting out to see the arrival of that one. A lot of the US military traffic passing overhead East Midlands throughout the day. But still, I've got to wait for the 747, which is Air Force One, to make its way into the UK. Let's have a look at those next overheads then, as we're waiting for that Ryanair to start boarding. Looks like those first passengers making their way out to the aircraft there. Just see a few feet and bags underneath the aircraft. Again on final to land in at 500 feet is the current altitude as it passes over Kegworth and the M1. Cessna 152 that we saw depart out a little while ago is making its way back in towards us as well. See if we can pick up the 787 as it makes its way into Manchester then from where we are within the air park this evening. If you're interested in visiting the air park, have a look at the stream description below. There's a link in there that'll take you straight to the air park's website, give you all the latest information about their opening times, prices, all the aircraft on static display as well. Next open Thursday, I believe, Saturday and Sunday as well. Once again going around. Come back to that one as it lands in this evening. The equipment's underneath that aircraft. So a lot of the aircraft over RVL, I think used for primarily mapping and calibration services. Right, let's see if we can pick out this 787 then as we're waiting for that Ryanair to board. There it is. Very gradually making its way towards us, just passing through the cloud. If we can keep track of it. There we go. 787 inbound to Manchester then. Overhead East Midlands. Not very often we get to see the Chewy 787s. The last time we saw one here at East Midlands was at the start of this year. Operates in a ferry flight over to Barbados for a lot of the cruise passengers. Goes, reaching my maximum reach, as it were. Let's get back round onto the main apron then, a little bit further across for the Ryanair. There it is. Keep an eye out for those next overheads then. But the 787 Golf Tango uniform, India Charlie, the registration. This way down towards the south this time. Might just be able to pick that one up. Very end of 27. There it is. Very brief glimpse there as it continues descending towards us. Sun just breaking through there, bringing a bit more light into this evening street. So we'll also wait for the traffic to build up on the ground here at East Midlands. Have a look at some of that overhead traffic in just a few minutes' time. A few aircraft that we don't usually see into East Midlands, but I believe that we are going to see next year Sun Express heading up to Manchester, just north of Leicester now. I think Sun Express starting scheduled services next year from East Midlands, so it'll be another operator. Another interesting livery as well. So this one is routing over towards the west. So I'll try my best to pick that up. The sun straight at us at the minute. Hopefully we'll be able to pick that one out. good to have you with us this evening, and thank you very much for joining us from East Midlands Airport again, from the grounds of the Air Park this evening. Let's see if we can pick up that Sun Express then, just making its way through the cloud. There we go. Making its way into Manchester from Antalya. There we go, making its way out of our view. The airfield looks like it's finally touching down now. There it is as it taxis towards its stand. The weather a lot calmer than it was about an hour and a half ago. That wind really driving towards us, almost dropping dead. There it is then, pulling onto the RVL apron, now to come to a full stop. There it is, parking brakes applied, as engines should start feathering and throttling back. A bit further down then, I think. There it is, tucking itself away further forward towards the hangar there. Number of aircraft on the apron. It does indeed, looks like it's now come to a full stop. And 152 that we saw departing earlier, touching down as well. So that one is going to vacate. Just a short flight out for that one, 30 minutes in the air. A lot of bird activity again this evening across the airfield. So no sight of that 152 just yet. Making its way overhead, which show is 777 off to Vancouver. Let's see if we can pick that one up. There it is. Very bad even at all for spotting the overheads. A close look down the end of of the airfield north end on stand of the last of those passengers making their way on board of the Ryanair. Just disappearing down into the maintenance area. There it goes. Safe return for that one this evening. Looks like some progress has been made on the main apron there. So the tug is in place, ready to push back that aircraft, which should see that one move. Very short while. Keep an eye on that one. 767 in from Kennedy isn't too far out. Less than 7 minutes away as it passes down through 7,000 feet, 287 knots is its current speed. Golf Delta Hotel Lima Romeo, the registration on that 767. Flight time this evening in from JFK, just shy of 6 hours and 10 minutes. Aircraft 12 years of age. 13 years of age actually, September 2012. This one first entered into service with DHL. There you go, so Ryanair is indeed making its way out, starting that pushback. Just obscured by the eastern Embraer there. Picking back up again at 15 knots on the forecast. So as that Ryanair is starting to push back then, and the 767 is making its way down. Okay, one last quick overhead making its way above us. There you go, the Swiss off into Manchester. A320-200 series there. Firmly back down onto the apron then. And that Ryanair just waits its turn over there on the apron to start up. And make its way down towards the start, runway 27. So look where that 767 is, just south of Nottingham now. Four 4,000 feet that one is, currently passing through. So should be with us in about 3 minutes time. Turned out to be a very cold evening indeed here at East Midlands. That temperature just above 16 degrees. I think will very quickly drop away as well. A lot of the heat being carried away by the building winds. So the Ryanair next to depart and the DHL next to arrive into East Midlands. So look for those next arriving aircraft as well, following the 767. The Ryanair in from Dublin is starting to make its way towards us. That one just passing through 1,500 feet. The 777 in from Cincinnati is about an hour out, and so is the UPS 767 in from Philadelphia. That one about an hour and 30 minutes away from us this evening. Ryanair in from Bratislava. A very similar time to the 767 from Philadelphia, about an hour and 30 minutes before we see the aircraft on the ground. The Ryanair Air in front of us then continuing its taxi from the apron onto the taxiway. There it goes, making its way just behind the tree line. Registration of the departing 737-809 Hotel, Quebec Bravo Sierra. That 767 isn't too far away from us now. It is on final approach. Check in on the 777 over there on the very end stand. So that one is expected to depart out to Leipzig just before 7 p.m. So in the next 50 minutes or so, we should see that one hopefully pushing back up its stand and making its way down to the start of 27 before making its way off to Leipzig. out to Palma, then continuing to taxi, and the Vulcan Air of the National Police Air Service. So that one is pinging as well, so we may well see that one emerge from the maintenance area in the next few minutes. 767 though over Westleek. The Ryanair will be holding for that one. Still a little way to go before it reaches the end of 27. Not enough time to intercept there and take off before that 767 arrives in. So it looks like that we will see that 767 as the next aircraft on this evening's stream, with the Ryanair just holding at the end of 27, giving way to the arriving aircraft in from Kennedy. And set up for the arrival of that next aircraft. See the weather looking not too bad down towards the south. A few clouds out there, but nothing as severe as it was last Thursday. So very unfortunate with very dense cloud and rain setting in throughout the stream. We had the shelter of the air traffic control tower here in the air park. That's 767 just passing over the M1 then down through 300 feet at 132 knots. As it touches down, goes, those reverse thrusters deploying in the distance very quickly, making its way down towards us. The Vulcan Air also emerging. Pick up on that very quickly. There it is. And that's 767 just in time for that one to arrive in with us. And there it goes, safely vacating. Flight time there, 6 hours and 11 minutes. In from New York this evening. And Ryanair lining up on a runway 27, that one on the centre line now, awaiting takeoff clearance. It looks like it's going to make its way out first though, just ahead of the Ryanair. Aircraft taking priority then over the Ryanair. Now we're making its way north of the airfield, just about to disappear there. And away it goes, that's 767 pulling in onto stand. And the Ryanair still waiting down there. Safely arriving onto stand there, the DHL 767 in from New York, and the Ryanair off to Palma shortly to be with us. A bit higher there. Rotation indeed, right behind the tree line there. It did sound like that was going to make its way down a little bit further. That must be a very light service indeed this evening. I'm fully expecting that one to rotate just in front of us. Already passing through 2,000 feet then. It goes as it continues that left-hand turn down towards the south. A number of turns there. It slaloms its way down south. Altering its course ever so slightly then, heading off southwest from the airfield. 4,200 feet there as it continues to climb away this evening. So right now off to Palm then with that very early rotation. The DHL in the distance. Get a bit more light in if we can. There we go, switch setters for a bit. The aircraft crane and crew moving into place. Looking at departing towards the north. So very light on traffic indeed here at East Midlands this evening. Got that early departing traffic just about to reach its destination. Destination, should I say. But the cargo traffic is well underway here this evening. 767 from Kennedy then. That lower cargo door opening up. Anything interesting comes off of these aircraft this evening. In the past couple of months, quite a wide range, wide variety of cargo coming off the back of these aircraft. A lot of expensive goods as well. In terms of vehicles, anyway, they're Rolls Royces and Ferraris that we've seen come off quite a number of these aircraft. Very expensive way to transport vehicles around, but very efficient way to get it from country to country, especially if you've got the funds to pay for it. Right in from Dublin, about 25 minutes out then. Just passing north of Anglesey now, going to make its way over North Wales and then down in towards East Midlands, over Derby in towards Nottingham, and then arriving with us on runway 27. Registration of the arriving aircraft from Dublin this evening, Echo India, Echo Victor Bravo, 737-800. This one was delivered in December 2011. And the 777 in from Cincinnati this evening. About 40 minutes out now. That one's still at 37,000 feet. 602 knots is its current speed. Golf Delta Hotel Mike Charlie, the registration on the inbound 777. And the Ryanair from Vraslav. That one still with about an hour and 20 minutes to go. Sierra Papa Romeo November Kilo, the registration on that 737. So a little while before that next aircraft arrives in with us then. About 25 minutes or so till the Dublin service touches down this evening. Very eerily quiet as well. Cargo continuing to be checked just before it comes off of that aircraft. Sounds like a helicopter arriving in with us in the distance just before we looked at the 777 there. It is indeed. Very sharp exit from the runway there as it continues to hover. Taxi over towards the maintenance area. There he goes. Touching down just behind the hangar there. In the distance, any aircraft just behind the trees. Doesn't look like it this evening, no 747s unfortunately. So look back round at the progress on the 777 and off to Leipzig. Just a short while. Majority of that cargo now making its way back on board. So hopefully we are staying on schedule for the departure of the 777 this evening. So look at some of the overhead traffic making its way towards us then. Into Manchester, making its way in from Heraklion this evening. Somewhere out there down towards the south, making its way towards us. That one operated by ETF Airways. So one with the grey livery over the vertical and horizontal stabilisers. See if we can pick that up then as it makes its way overhead. There it is. We've got a bit of a different Jet 2 livery than we're used to here at East Midlands. We missed the Jet 2 A321 landing and departing on last Thursday's stream. Have a look back at that. First time we've seen the Jet2.com livery, or liveried A321 here at East Midlands. That one being diverted then due to the weather last week. Only a short stop on the ground for the aircraft before it made its way back out again. Right, see if we can attach this somewhere else, make it a bit more convenient for our panning around. Hopefully a bit of overhead traffic this evening. It's all a bit quiet on the ground here at East Midlands. No, good to have you with us nevertheless, and thank you very much for being with us again. So next stream, it should be Thursday of this week. The weather not looking too bad, very similar to this evening. Although we might try and make our way indoors on Thursday. Keep away from some of the cold. 787 in from Abu Dhabi. That's the Etihad Airways 787 into Manchester. Making its way up towards us now. Should be able to pick that one up in the next 10 minutes or so. And then the Ryanair in from Dublin is about 20 minutes out now. That one is making its way down towards Wrexham. And already starting its initial descent in towards us. Passing down through 21,500 feet now, 398 knots. Just a short hop over from Dublin this evening. The Avial in from the Isle of Man, that one too is making its way towards us. About 14-minute flight time on the RVL for that Cessna Caravan. Quickly making its way up to an altitude of around 9,000 feet, where it will continue to cruise at that altitude for the majority of its flight this evening. 182 knots is the current speed of the Caravan. Golf Romeo Victor Lima Yankee, their registration. Seeing in the distance there, scaring the flocks of birds that have appeared around the airfield, and they are just about to pass by. Both the lower and upper cargo decks open on the 767. Sun just starting to set. Radome of the 767, they're catching the first of that sunset this evening. Flyer deck as well. Not very busy evening at all here in East Midlands. Cargo operations taking the majority of stands. And passing out of that summer schedule note, though, the influx of traffic will be much less now. So very much back into main cargo operations here at East Midlands. So the first time this year streaming in September, towards the end of the year as well. January this year we first started streaming from East Midlands, and I've done so consecutively throughout the year. Majority of the time, at least 2 streams per week. Thank you very much for sticking with us. If you're not already done so, do consider subscribing to the channel, as we're out here at least twice a week from East Midlands. And we're quickly approaching our next goal of 5,000 subscribers. So if you could help us on that journey, that would be absolutely fantastic. So not too long before we see the Etihad 787 making its way up towards us then. Still a very clear evening above, catching a lot of those arrivals into Manchester. Majority of them passing right overhead East Midlands airspace as well. 757 in the distance there. Still a workhorse in a DHL fleet that should be around for a few more years to come yet. Still some age to those airframes in their late 30s now, a lot of them ex-British Airways fleet. Passenger to freighter conversions. Right now they're into Manchester. 767 in front of us, continuing to offload the cargo from the aircraft. Etihad then just coming up towards us south of Leicester. Should be able to pick that one up quite a way out. With a bit of luck anyway. Right in from Dublin, about 13 minutes out then. That one passing down through 12,500 feet. There's a real shadow of the traffic this evening, or lack of. So not too long before their next arrival is with us then this evening. Now 777 in from Cincinnati. That one is over Northern Ireland now, 37,000 feet, about 13 minutes out. Looks like that 787 might be making its way towards us in the distance. Just look around and see if we can pick that one out somewhere out there. I think that may be it. Is indeed. Etihad 787 in from Abu Dhabi then towards Manchester. By the time it touches down into Manchester, about 7.5 hours. 20,000 feet there as it passes overhead East Midlands this evening. out of view. The Etihad 787 off to Manchester. Oops, a bit focused back on the 767 then. It's a little cold now from that weather. The Ryanair then in from Dublin this evening, just north of us now, passing down through 7,200 feet. Now, 777 there in the distance as well. Continuing to load that cargo on Leipzig bound this evening. (5,800 feet) the altitude on the inbound Ryanair now. Now wind is starting to pick up again. Where are we? 11 knots, so a little less than it was earlier. The temperature also dropping as well, 15.5 degrees. What it feels like at the minute. So a couple of degrees colder than where we were as we started the stream this evening. Triple 7 in front of us there in the process of refueling. And the cargo finally coming off. 767 inbound from New York. Very cold working over there as well, especially as those temperatures start to drop. To everybody who's liked the stream this evening as well. It's good to have you with us. So unfortunately that traffic is died off a little bit now. The next inbound isn't too far out though. Just a few minutes as it turns on to final approach, making its way down through 3,400 feet. again this evening. Very common sight, that lighting van. Looks like the 777 then, almost all ready to close the upper cargo door. And the Ryanair continuing its final approach over East Leak now. This is indeed 777 then, in the distance. Group view there. Moving away from the aircraft now. Just a couple of minutes before the Ryanair touches down with us this evening. Passing down through 1,300 feet at 142 knots. Echo India, Echo Victor Bravo. Registration on the 737. Inbound from Dublin this evening. Upper cargo door on the 777 closing then. Looks like that 747 everybody will be having a look for this evening. He's going to be making its way down over the south. Three hours or so before that one makes an appearance, I think. Still some distance to go. With the next aircraft arriving in with us then, just about to touch down. Let's pan around off the 777. That one will be making its way out towards us in just a few minutes' time. We'll catch the start-up of that one. For the time being, Ryanair has just touched down at the end of runway 27 and is making its way down towards us now. And there it is then, just about to emerge from behind the trees. Flight time of 41 minutes then. Now the point of touching down with us here at East Midlands this evening. Safely vacating then onto the taxiway and making its way down towards its stand. temperature continuing to drop and the wind picking up as well. So really dropping quite cold now out here. And right now just about to turn on to the apron then. And the 777 in the distance. It looks like the forward door is now closed. So the aircraft should be ready to start pushing back anytime soon. Its way straight in onto stand then. Very sharply applying those parking brakes, but firmly on and on its stand. The Ryanair arriving in from Dublin this evening. So look back over at the 777 then, as that one is just about ready to start pushing back. So look, just moving into place there. And the next 777 is just 20 minutes away from arriving in with us. That one arriving in from Cincinnati this evening, making its way down towards Wrexham at the minute. 21,600 feet is the current altitude of the 777. So we should see one 777 departing now. That's the aircraft in front of us. And the next arriving in from Cincinnati in the next 20 minutes. But it's good to have you with us, and thank you for sticking with us this evening from a very cold and windy East Midlands airport. The temperature really is going to plummet in just a short while, so we'll see how long we last this evening. Hopefully that 777 moving off any time soon, so they're definitely ready to start pushing back. Tug in place there, and this one almost on schedule. hanging up then, Delta Alpha Alpha Lima Whiskey, registration of the 777, making its way from East Midlands. Not too sure what's holding up over there. Oh, there it goes. Where the time's reading from this evening, but it's definitely not 7:15. That's feeling the effects of the cold weather as well this evening. Oh, well, we'll have a look at that afterwards, see if we can fix it. There we go, right on schedule then, the 777 making its way from East Midlands this evening. Those engines starting up now as it continues to push back. Making quite some noise over there in the distance. Really picking up now. 777 then pushing back a little further. I'll keep up with that one. Whatever reason, so the software's had a bit of a reset in the background. I've thrown everything off kilter a bit, so I'll reset that for the next stream. But just before 7 PM here at East Midlands, not 7:18 as the clock says there. Just probably wishing it was 7:18, a little bit warmer in the day. There's the engines then. First engine started up. And second in preparation of starting. You can see those fan blades start to turn. It's not already started. Started. Bit of an obscure angle to see in there. So look where that next 777 is then in terms of arriving with us. That one is about 15 minutes out. There's a size comparison there of the Alps car in front of the 777. So 1777 outbound from East Midlands in front of us, and the next making its way down towards us, passing through 12,700 feet. The RVL in from the Isle of Man, making a bit of a beeline straight towards us now, hoping to get in just before that 777 arrives with us. Goes continuing its taxi down towards us. There it is, emerging onto the taxiway then. Next inbound, the RVL from the Isle of Man, turning on to final approach. Flight surfaces set for their takeoff configuration. Continuing its taxi down to the start of runway 27. See whereabouts the RVL is in terms of arriving in with us. Disappearing behind the trees. Cargo continuing to be offloaded from the 767 there, and that 777 inbound from Cincinnati, making its way over Nottingham now, passing down through 4,400 feet. 777 continuing to taxi down to the start of runway 27. The RVL disappearing off of the radar. That one has just landed in. It's tricky to tell with the Cessnas. As they do completely just drop off the radar. Safely on the ground this evening, arriving in from the Isle of Man. Golf Romeo Victor Lima Yankee, the registration. Very regular and common visitor on our streams here at East Midlands, operating that route from the Isle of Man. Emerging from the dip in the taxiway. And the first of those 777s arriving at the end of runway 27, keep up with the RVL. So the departing aircraft to Leipzig. Looks like that may be heading onto runway 27, just ahead of the arriving 777 from Cincinnati. And there it is, making its way onto its stand. Tucking itself away just next to the 767 there. The RVL here from the Isle of Man this evening. And that next departure, the 777 to Leipzig, is making its way down towards us now. See how early this one rotates. And then it goes landing gear safely stowed away, continuing its departure from East Midlands this evening. DHL 777 making its way out to Leipzig. There he goes, passing through 1,700 feet. Next 777 arriving in with us. That one passing down through 1,300 feet, 120 knots is its current speed. Quite a low speed that. There he goes, continuing to climb away then. DHL 777 off to Leipzig this evening, passing through 4,200 feet. And well, that one is making its way off into the distance. The next aircraft is just a minute or so from being with us. Deck there, the lower cargo deck of the 767. Very small rear section as well. There you go, that 777 landing in with us now. Just making its way over the M1. There it is, just about to emerge from behind the trees. Safely touching down into East Midlands then after a flight time of 7 hours and 5 minutes. The DHL 777. This one on to stand then. I think given the weather and the low volume of traffic, probably make this our final aircraft this evening. It's a little bit silly taking the full force of the weather this evening. Goes manoeuvring itself, towards the stands over there. goes arriving onto its stand then. Ground crew there, waiting in place, ready to receive the aircraft. Go safely arriving on its stand into East Midlands from Cincinnati this evening. Right, well, I think I'm going to call it that. Well, we've still got the best of the light with us and a bit of the warmth as well this evening, so a little shorter stream than usual. The temperature really has taken its effect this evening. Give me a chance to sort out that clock as well. It's definitely not 7:35 a.m. But thank you very much for being with us this evening. It's been great to have you again. Thank you very much for joining us in the chat. If you're new to join the channel, please do consider subscribing. We're out here at least twice a week streaming from the aeropark. The next stream is already up for Thursday, so join us on that. But from me, I'm going to get packed away, get in the warmth, and hope for a bit more traffic on Thursday evening. So thank you very much again for being with us, and we'll see you all on Thursday evening.